Hello folks, and welcome back to another tutorial. I drag the image of the desert to my document. I create a layer mask, then I take the brush tool. I want to erase the sky and mountains in this image. I take this other image. I want to open it in a separate window, so I place it in this part of the interface. I select the Quick Selection tool, and I will make a selection to the mountains. But now, I go to the Select menu, and I select Inverse. This inverts the selection. I press Ctrl or Command J to duplicate that selection. Now, I will drag this mountains to the design. I convert it into a smart object, then I scale it. Also, I put a layer mask, and with the brush tool, I delete some parts of the image. I will be doing this same process to other images that I will place. Now, I take also this image, and I do the same thing as the others. I select the sky, then I place it. Put the sky image below the other layers, so by that way I leave only the sky as you see. I will put each one of these images in separate groups, so I can make the color adjustments better and keeping things organized. Let's make now color correction to each one of these images. I will create also layer mask and layer styles as necessary to the layers for that purpose. You can follow my settings. I group these layers and I name it BG. Then I create a gradient map to affect all the group background. I select this color preset. I change the blending mode to soft light and I lower the opacity. And also I create a color lookup adjustment layer. I select the night from day preset. And also I lower the opacity. That looks good to me. Now, I will start by placing the dinosaurs to the composition. I begin by dragging the T-Rex and then the others' dinosaurs. I duplicate the layer of the T-Rex to create a shadow from it. I convert the shadow into a smart object. I press Ctrl or Command T to free transform, then I click in the top part, and I press and hold the Shift key to resize it not proportionally. Right-click and select Skew. Now go to Filter, Blur and Gaussian Blur. I will put 12 pixels. I lower the opacity. The reason I convert it into a smart object is for editing again in case I'm not happy with the results. I create a new layer for more shadows in the T-Rex feet. Sometimes just one shadow won't be enough. I take the brush tool and I click with black color. I scale pressing and holding Shift. I duplicate that layer. I lower the opacity. Now, I select the 3 shadow layers and I merge them by pressing Ctrl or Command E. I will double-click in the T-Rex layer to bring up the Layer Styles dialog box. I want to put inner shadow to create a lights in the dinosaur. I will put also gradient overlay to create a soft shadow inside down the body part of the T-Rex. I press Ctrl or Command L to bring up the levels. In the channels, I select blue and I move the sliders. I create another layer. I go to Edit, Fill, and in the contents I choose 50% gray. I change the blend mode to overlay. I select the dodge tool, and I lower the exposure. I start to paint in the highlights areas to brighten it a little bit. Now I switch to the burn tool to darken some areas. I forgot to create a clipping mask to affect just this layer. I group all the layers of the T-Rex. I continue dragging the rest of the dinosaurs, then I do the same thing as I did with the T-Rex. Create shadows using the same techniques and also color correction. You can create any adjustment layer as you need. As you can see, I have just repeated the same steps for the other dinosaurs. I have duplicated this dinosaur folder by pressing Ctrl or Command J. I want to create a fog. I create a new layer, and I switch the background to black, and I press Ctrl or Command Backspace to fill the layer with that color. You can do that with any color you choose. Now I go to Filter, Render, and Clouds. Make sure to have black and white color in the foreground and background. I set the blending mode to screen and lower the opacity. I create a layer mask to reduce more this effect, and I take the brush tool with black color. I will be creating 2 more layers to create some lights with white and yellow colors. I set the blending mode of this layer to color dodge, and I lower the opacity to 15%. I group these layers. And the last thing that I'm gonna do is color effects to this design with adjustment layers. I create a color balance. also a brightness and contrast. And exposure adjustment. And a curves adjustment layer. I group these layers. So there you have it. You can do more as you like to this design. Feel free to always experiment. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video.